What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's feeling good. Hope everybody's doing well. Guys, I'm back with part two to a story. So the story I played for you guys yesterday, there was more to it. I just stopped abruptly. I hope you guys caught on the screen where it said, my thoughts will be read on part two, because at part two is when I cut it off. That's when I gave my thoughts at the end of the story. And the story was long. Yesterday's story was what, 23 minutes long, 24 minutes long after editing. So, I ended it there. I want these to be digestible, of course. So, that's a nice spot. But I continue on here with part two. So I'll pick back up where I had left, and it'll go straight to it. So if you guys did not hear that story, part one, I'll link it here so you can check it out. And also in part one, I'll link part two. So if you're hearing that for the first time, then you'll jump here and hear this. But just a quick recap. This woman regrets cheating on her husband. She confessed to him. She told him everything. And he divorced her, just like he should have. She was very, very upset about it. And she started stalking him. Stalking this man, following him. She got in trouble, restraining order. And yeah, it gets worse, guys. She goes to jail in this next part. So stay tuned. If you heard part one, part two is going to be good. If you did not hear part one, go listen to part one and then come back here and check out part two. Let's get into it. We're still in love, and we should at least give us another chance. He didn't even delete it. His now ex-fiance went off on me, and everybody started attacking me in the post. I saw on one of the comments, my ex-husband said, "I guess it's time to update that restraining order." And apparently, that's what he did. Apparently, the other one was expired, and he sure did update the order. You think that stopped me? No. I was determined to go to that wedding and say my piece. I was never blocked on that Facebook page. That was my business page. He never blocked it. They just sat there and made fun of me. I didn't care. I was going to go and show up at that wedding. Everything was on Facebook. They put where the events was. Other events leading up to the wedding, like dinners, all types of stuff, parties. I was going to show up at the wedding, nothing else. They were moving really, really fast. Usually it takes months to plan a wedding. Sometimes even a year. It wasn't like a huge wedding, though, at a huge venue, but it was all outside at one of her family's properties. This family member must be wealthy, because this place was huge. It's so funny. On one of the Facebook posts, someone mentioned, "Well, what's going to happen if your ex shows up?" And other people, not my ex-husband or his fiance, other people were saying, "Well, she'd get arrested, duh. If there's an actual court order in place for her not to be around him, that's stalking, and that's jail time. On top of that, she'll have to pay fines." Reading all that didn't scare me. I just didn't think it'll happen. I just knew I was going to win my husband back. But they were saying things like, hopefully this person's not that stupid. Then I saw old friends that were really my friends at first, and they all became friends with my ex-husband once we were together, and they remained friends with him after the divorce, talking about how crazy I was and how they wouldn't be surprised if I showed up. Some people are just so fake. How do you start off as my friend? I get a divorce. Yes, I made the mistake, but you choose my husband's side? Listen, I'm not perfect. No one's perfect. But you ditched me and became friends with the person I was divorced from. Anyway, that's another story in itself. I sat and I watched every single day. Once I found out where the wedding was going to be, I was determined to show up. You're something else. I made sure I wore a very, very nice outfit. I just wanted him to see me and see what he'd been missing. So since the divorce, I had went crazy in the gym. True story. I know you tell your listeners to focus on the gym and guys that got hurt by cheating women or girlfriends. Listen, guys, it goes the same for waywards. You guys really have to understand that a lot of times it simply was a mistake. I know you can say, "Oh, it's not a mistake. This is a mistake. That is a mistake. What you did is not a mistake." You can be pushed to make a mistake, guys. We're human. We're not perfect. But anyway, I found solace in working out and got really, really into it. And I know I was looking like my old, younger self that he fell in love with. He would always compliment my body all the time. He would even tell me he couldn't believe that he was so lucky to have me. You know how that made me feel? I miss that. No one tells me that anymore, even though my body is back to where it was. No man tells me stuff like that. No man gives me compliments. I missed all those compliments he would give me. My ex-husband's compliments used to make me feel like a queen. I felt unstoppable. So let me get to the part where I showed up at his wedding. So me knowing that there is a new restraining order in place, I had been warned and told not to go anywhere near him, which I think is stupid because what if we accidentally end up in the same space? What if I'm shopping at Walmart and he's there? Do I get arrested then? It's so dumb, but anyway, the morning of the wedding, I show up and it was no issue for me to come to the property and get on the property. I was not questioned. So this family member of hers must be filthy rich. First, you had to pass someone, a security guard at the gate to get into the neighborhood itself. Then there's another gate into the property. I had no trouble getting in though. I'm here for the wedding. That's all I said. And they sent me right through. They were expecting people to come for a wedding. There was no secret code or anything. I was with the other cars and I just went right on in. I was told where to park. We all parked in the grass and you can see where the event was going on and was going to take place. I didn't really have a plan. I just was wanting to see when they were going to start. And I was hoping they'd announce if anyone had anything to say against these two being married. And I was going to speak up. And that's what happened. That's exactly what happened. I didn't plan this out. I just hoped it'll all work out. And it did, which told me that it was meant to be, and I was supposed to do this. So while everyone was walking, I'm sitting in my car, just waiting, and finally I can see something was going on, about to get started, so I rushed out and acted like I was late when I got up there. There was an older woman that said, "Hi, what's your name?" I gave her a completely fake name. I just made it up. I didn't know I was that good at lying. She says, "Okay, just sit here." And of course, that was way in the back, the very back row. There were like 4 other empty seats, and people that were coming in sat next to me, and some had to stand. Those seats got filled up though next to me. And I see my ex-husband. He didn't even spot me. I'm sitting in the back and I'm looking at him. I just wanted to run up and grab him and say, "Honey, I love you. Let's run off and leave here." In my head, that made complete sense and it would have worked, but I didn't have the courage to do it. He would have told me, "Yes, babe, let's go. I'm glad you come for me." And we just leave and be happy again. But I sat there and I waited and I waited. The pastor spoke mostly to the crowd for a while. He's cracking jokes and saying all types of things. And all of a sudden I see his fiance line up. I'm in the back aisle. So she's kind of in line with me, but I'm not on the edge near the aisle. I'm on the far right side. So I'm not next to her. That woman is standing there shaking, nervous. If you ask me, that was a sign that she really didn't want to do it. And she knew it wasn't right to marry my ex-husband because she knows deep down inside he belongs to me. What woman goes chasing her ex-husband for years and years if it isn't love? But anyway, I'm sitting there. I'm waiting and finally the music comes on and she's walking down. The pastor is going through what he said, but then allowed those two to say their own vows. I thought hers were very pathetic and probably she stole them from something she heard online. or on a movie. But of course, my ex husband was very thoughtful, just like he always has been. He said a lot that actually made me cry because I envisioned myself in her shoes. And he sang these words to me at our wedding, us remarrying. By the way, at our wedding, we said our own vows to each other. So I know this was probably his idea. Listening to him speak, the pastor then says, after saying some other words, "If anyone is against this marriage, yada yada, please say your piece or forever." And I immediately just stood up. No one seemed to notice me at first. My stomach had butterflies, but I stood up and I said my husband's name. I screamed it. And I said, "Baby, I love you. Don't do this. We belong together." All you hear is gasp and people say, "Oh my gosh." And then you heard somebody say, "It's her. She really came." No one noticed me this whole time. I felt like it was hours before they got to this point since I even sat down. Everyone's looking at me. I clearly stole the attention from the bride. She was not happy. She hiked up her dress and tried coming over, but she was stopped by her bridesmaids. Some big woman, definitely not part of my ex-husband's family. I've never seen her before, but she comes back and then grabbed me and choked me from behind. It's like she was some wrestler or something. I screamed and I cried that I couldn't breathe. "Get her off of me." And someone else pulled her off and told her, "Don't do that. We're not doing that here." All I could hear someone say is, "Call the police now, call the police." I got escorted out by the big lady and a few other people. They took me all the way up front, past the gate, to the street, and we sat there until the police came. By the time the police came, my ex-husband was up there, and he says, "She's trespassing. I have a restraining order on her, and she shows up at my wedding? She's crazy. She's tried stealing from me. Arrest her. She's trying to hurt me. She's stalking me." The police asked me my name and asked me for my ID. I thought about giving them a fake name, but I was too scared. So I reached down and gave them my ID and told them my real name. And I was arrested right after. I couldn't believe this was happening, but in my mind, I felt like I was doing the right thing. This is love. This is what love is. You don't stop fighting for love no matter what. I honestly don't believe that anymore, but that's how I felt at the time. I've been convinced by family and friends and even therapists, yes, more than one, to just let it go. He's gone, even if it was meant to be. Everything that's meant to be doesn't happen. That's just life. Everyone doesn't get to be with their soulmate in life. My therapist told me if I truly believe that everyone has a soulmate, I need to be completely honest with myself. What are the odds of every person finding their soulmates and going the rest of their lives and sharing the rest of their lives with their soulmate? That's just not ever going to happen every time. Yes, it'll happen every once in a while, but it's not going to happen with everybody. Majority of everyone is not going to happen to. Majority of everyone is not going to find their soulmate. When she explained all that to me, I realized that I was being silly this entire time. I was warned that I was facing 6 months in jail for breaking the order. I ended up getting 3.5 months and having to pay some fines. My dad got the lawyer for me. It was a good friend of his. I'm not proud to have a record which is going to be erased. My dad is pulling some strings to do that. But if I could go back, I wouldn't change much. Well, the only thing I would change is cheating on my husband. But as far as doing what I did to get him back, I would not have been as aggressive. Going through his coat pocket at work and stealing his phone or popping up at his wedding was a bit much. You think? Maybe I should have just DM'd him from another account, and maybe I would have caught him at a very vulnerable time, and I could have met up with him and talked with him. Wow. I'll talk about it in my thoughts. I guarantee if it happened that way, I would have him. I still stalk his Facebook. Oh my gosh. but I don't comment or anything. I'm not popping up at places he's at. He and his wife are actually moving to Phoenix in November. I considered leaving the state as well, just to go somewhere new, but I ended up just getting a loft apartment downtown. They are dirt cheap here. The city I'm in is trying to revitalize the downtown area, so they made living more affordable for working professionals. I landed a place, 1 bedroom, it's beautiful. I hope that you, True Story, will be able to share my channel with your audience. I haven't started it yet, but I have everything I need for my setup. A guy from work actually bought it for me, and he offered to help me. I'm not sleeping with him, but we did kiss. He's really not my type, but I like that he's been so nice to me. I don't know, he might win me over. Who knows? I can tell he likes me a lot, so why not just give it a try, right? I asked him if he'd join me in conversation on camera for my channel, and he said absolutely. He's a gamer and has his own channel. I'm thinking of getting into that as well. He told me I'd blow up simply because of my looks, but my main focus is to tell my story as a wayward wife. Once I'm finally moved into my new place and where the setup is going to be, the background's going to be great. I plan to go live and do my show every night, and I'm just going to freestyle my story and tell my story, and I want people to listen, even guys. If you're listening to this story here on True Story Channel and you're thinking, oh, she's a piece of crap, she's this, she's that, just hear me out. Just listen to one line. Not asking anybody to donate anything. I'm not even asking you to like anything. Just listen to it. I guarantee when you hear me tell my story and you see me and realize, wow, she is sorry. She's ready to do good by someone. A lot of you guys who claim you don't want to be in a relationship ever again, I guarantee you all will be trying to talk to me in my DMs. Because you'll see that I am a great woman. I've learned from my mistakes. I want to do right by someone. I want to be a wife again. I'm determined to get married again. I see the big picture now. I'm going to start this channel, tell my story, and someday I'm going to be getting married on my channel live, and everyone's going to see and say, wow, she really did it. And she truly is sorry and wants to do right. I want to be led by God's word. I'm not playing. I'm not here for jokes. I'm not here for entertainment. I have a job. I have a good job paying me good money. I'm not here to get loads of money or anything or loads of attention. I just feel like a lot of people can relate to my story and I'm going to tell it. So like I told you, True Story, I'm going to send you a follow-up. Once I get moved in and I'm ready, I would love to have you share the link to my channel and give the follow-up like an update, part 2 or something, and lead everyone to my channel. If you can, I'd greatly appreciate that. Take care. Talk to you soon. Wow. It's like, where do I start? This was wild, man. Guys, did you guys notice when she said, if I could go back and change things, I would just talk to him in his DMs and probably catch him at a vulnerable time. What? Now, ma'am, I'm going to keep it honest. I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. You sound like a very, very bad person. You're wanting this man to do what you did. He left you because you were something he was not and something he didn't want to be involved in. So you're trying to get him to cheat on his fiance and wife? Now wife? Oh, he'll do it. Look at my body. What were you going to do? Like send him pictures and things like that? That's ridiculous, man. That is, You're stalking this guy, showing up at his wedding. Big girl almost choked you out. I hope you're not trying to get sympathy. I'm not upset that you got arrested. I'm probably more upset that you didn't get 6 months like they threatened you with. You got 2.5, something like that. Like, that's not cool. You can't do that. You're going to his job. You're stealing out of his jacket, taking his things. You probably got the HR lady fired. She led you in there, trusting you. I'm here talking about I didn't know I could lie like that when you gave the fake name. What? Man, I think you feel like because you confessed to your husband that you cheated on him, you feel like that should go a long way. I told him the truth, so he should forgive me. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. I'm sure he respected you that you gave him the truth. So then he was able to walk away. Because if you would have lied, it would have came out anyway. You would have cheated again. You would have done something. He would have found out. And it would have been far worse. He did you a favor by just walking away. That was you. You should have said, okay, well, I learned my lesson. I'm going to do better next time and move on. Instead, you wanted to stalk this man because you did not want to see him become great. Him on Facebook traveling with this woman and actually improving his life and fixing his finances and finding someone that's willing to do that with him. You did not like that. You wanted to end that. You would have got back with that man. Let's say you tricked him and you got him back. You truly believe that you would have done right by him? I don't think so. I think you would have cheated on him again. You would have told him he wasn't enough. You would have found something wrong with him and destroyed him again and hurt him again. Because if he came back to you, all you would do is think that he's weak. Wow, I cheated on him and he came back to me. I can do it again. I'll just say sorry. I'll just say sorry 100 more times this time. Maybe 200 more times. It'll work eventually. He'll come back. He's insecure. You would have looked down on him. You're actually lying to yourself in this email. I'm not going to lie. You're lying to yourself. Guys, am I wrong? Am I wrong, guys? Get in the comments. Let me know what you think. Guys, if you want to send in a story, send it to truestorynation@gmail.com. Here, I'll put it on the screen. That's truestorynation@gmail.com. I'm going to catch you guys at the next one.